Hi everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. I'm in Azure. Hope you all are doing good and safe wherever you are. We are creating a playlist for Azure Bicep. If any one of you missed that, I will add a link in my description where we have talked about how to create Bicep, how to install that, how to create the templates, and how can we use conditional operators or looping operators. And we have also created a CI/CD pipeline as well by using a classic editor. And in the current video, what I'm going to do is I am going to create a CI/CD, that is automatic build and release pipeline for this by using YAML. So let's get started on that. Yeah, so this is the project that we have created earlier, where we followed a simple structure that Microsoft suggested to use. So you will have a main.bicep file and you will have some module files. And in the module files, you can have your biceps uh, based on your resources or your projects or your environments, whatever it is. So I followed resource level modules. So you will see here one file for storage. I will create all the storage files inside this, one file for web apps if I have multiple web apps if I want to deploy. And I will just point them here in my main.bicep file by using this keyword, which is module. So this is all covered earlier. So now what I'm going to do is, so I will show you how to push this to Git repository and create the pipeline. So we have it here, and I have a Git project that is a repo in the Azure DevOps already here. And I have done some minor changes to my storage bicep file earlier. In the earlier file, if you have seen, we have used some loops and conditional operators. So I have removed them all together, and I just put the sample resource creation template over here. Now what we're gonna do is I will push this latest changes, and then we will work on the rest of the part, like the CI/CD part. So I will just go here and write some commit message like storage account resource corrected, file changed or else file changed. This is some message. Yeah, I'm just going to directly commit it. I'm not going to stage it and then commit it. Now I will also push this. Now when you push this, you will see that change in your repos being appeared. So let's wait for a minute here. Yeah, hopefully this is done. When I come here and I just refresh this, and if I go to my history, no, it is still not been pushed. So let me see what happened. Anything wrong? Okay, what I will do is I will just go to the folder structure and I will use the Git tortoise, which is a handy tool to work with Git. So I have everything here. Now I will just come to that particular project and I will just push it. Hopefully, if I don't have any conflicts, then it will go through. If I have conflicts, then it will not allow me to do so. Okay, I have to actually push it, not the commit part. So push to the main branch. I'm by default, I'm pushing to main branch, and this push is done. So let's just go and refresh and check it now. Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. I was actually checking the dev branch here. We have to switch to main branch. Yeah, when you look at here, you will see the storage account resource file changes. This is the push that we have done. And now let's just create one CI/CD pipeline for all this. So what we can do is we can just go to pipelines and then a new pipeline. So this is the pipeline that we have created earlier using classic mode, but for now we are going to use the YAML approach. So let's just go that select first option, and we are going to select the repo. and this is the default code that you will get. No, this is not the default code. I mean, this is Azure-pipelines.yaml file is already available in my repo, so I'm able to get it here. But what we can do for this is, let me just delete that part. I mean, the YAML file. So now this is a simple blank project, right? So what I will do is I will commit this and then I will push it. Then we will be able to see everything from the scratch. Deleted pipelines.yaml file. So I was doing some testing, so that is why we were able to see that. But when I push it now, you will not see that file anymore. There you go. You were having this earlier. When I refresh this, you will not see it anymore. Now it is asking to set up a build. So you can go to pipeline, then new pipeline, then they select repo, what kind of repo, like it can be GitHub or else a Gitbucket or Azure DevOps board. Then you will select the repo. Then either you can start with a starter pipeline or you can just go with an existing pipeline if you have it in your repo. So I will just go with a blank one, that is starter. This will just give you a boiler code over here, which gets triggered with your main branch, and it will use the uh, pool, that is your backend virtual machine as a Ubuntu latest, which is fine. And some sample message, I mean, some sample steps and scripts that they have given. Now, in our case, what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this part and we're gonna add the deployment part. But before deployment part, what I would like to say is uh, there is a need sometimes, like before deployment, you want someone has to come and validate that, like manual intervention has to be happened. If you want that, we can add it. Otherwise, you can skip that step as well. But for today's video, I'm going to add that manual intervention, like you will send out a mail to some of your manager or product owner or some senior architect to validate that before it get pushed into the actual environment. That is one task that I'm going to do. And the other one is we are going to use Azure ARM TTK test extension. That is because that will help you to validate all your templates that you have created, and if there are any hard-coded values or additional parameters that you are using, or else some secret values that are being exposed, all that will be tested before pushing it, before pushing your ARM template. So that will help you to validate the template as well. So these are the two things that we're gonna do. So to manage these two things, I'm going to create my pipeline in two stages. In the first stage, we will call it as a pre-deploy, and in that we're gonna validate our bicep file. And in my stage two, what I'm going to create is I'm going to add that validation logic that I talked about, and the other one is how we deploy the bicep file to the project. So let's start with the stages now. So to create stages, you can just use this one stages, and inside that we can have different stages. Like I will call my stage one. Stage one, I will call it as pre-deploy. Okay, and under these stages, you will have jobs basically. So now what I will do is I will add jobs here. Now jobs is again a set where you can have a number of jobs which will be triggering some script files, bash files, PowerShell files, or you want to create some CLI commands, whatever it is. So in the jobs also we can have different number of jobs, right? So first job that I'm going to create over here is let me bring it here. So my first job is a test cases job. I want to test my bicep file, so I will call it as a test case job run. Okay, and I can have a display name to this, which will help me to give some understanding what this is exactly on the UI. So that is one part. Then what I will do, if I want to use a different pool, I can use it. If I want to add some conditions, I can use it. What if some error happens, what should happen? And if this job is dependent on another job, we can add that too. So let me show you with a different pool. Right now we are using a latest Ubuntu machine, right? So you can use another pool as well, which will that means you will have new pool, I mean new virtual machine being created for that, just to have this test case run. But this is again optional. If we want, we can use it, or else we can ignore that. So I'm going to use this now. My VM image, I'm going to use a latest one, that is Windows 2022. Now this is fine. Now what I will do, I will add the steps to my job. What all the steps that I'm going to use. So again, steps can have different things. I will use the my first step in my job is I have to validate my ARM template. So to do that, you can use an extension called ARMTTK test. So for that, if your organization haven't installed that before, what you can do is I will just take you to that. So this is the extension run ARM template TTT test. So you just have to come here and get it free. That will add this to your organization. It will ask for the uh, project details, everything, and then it will get automatically added to your project. So when you look at here, this says this is a new static code analyzer for ARM templates that will help you to validate. And what it will validate is it will validate whether your template has a valid schema and locations are not hard coded, output doesn't contain secrets, all these values, template doesn't contain blank values. So all these things. And you will also have uh, things like how to use this. If you look at here, you can just take this as a task, and you can add it, and you will have the test results once this is run, and that test results also you can put it somewhere. And this is how you will be able to see the response. So we're going to add this TTK kit now. So I'm just going to copy this and come here, and this time I'm going to paste it here. So we have to follow proper intention with the YAML, then only it will work. So what I will do, I will just add it like this. So I have to remove this extra one and this one, and that's it. Now what we have this TTK task over here. We have to give the proper template path here. So the default directory is your repo directory, and then followed by your project name. So my project name in my case is project I am in Azure. That's it. And where I want to push the results. So I am okay to push the results to the results folder. And if you want to include some additional task or skip some additional task, that you can do, or else you can ignore that. That will validate all the validations that this TTK kit will do. Now we are good with this main template. I will say we can ignore this as well. I mean, you can read on this, whatever it is in this extension that is provided, and I will leave that link in the description as well. So this is done. Now this will help you to test your bicep file. Next task that I'm going to do is once we have this results, we have to push it to that means we have to publish it somewhere. So again, to publish it, we can use this one. So what I will do, I will just come here and put it here, and we have to follow intention. So there you go. So what it will do, it will look for all the, it basically uses any unit and any unit format, and it will take all the results. I mean, whatever the results that we get inside this results folder, and it will show you it in a proper format. So that is the point here. So my first steps will do these things like in my stage 1, that is before the pre-deploy. Now my stage 2, which will talk about actual deployment. So what I will do here is I will create one stage 2, and this time stage 2. Now my stage 2, I will call it as a deploy bicep. And then if I want to add some display name, I can add it. Like I will call it as deploy bicep stage. This is on that. Now we have to, I mean, if we want to use, if this is dependent on something, we can add dependency. If you want to timeout, if you want to add some jobs, if you want to use a different pool, that we can also do that. But in our case, we are just okay with the jobs. So my first job I am going to use is validation that I talked about. Again, to get the validation code, I have to give some name. So I will just call it as wait for validation. I don't need the space. If I need the space, I can use it in the display name. So I can call display name. Display name, I can put it as wait for external validation, or else wait for some manager approval. Something like that. You can put your message. And then like this is a job to validate, right? So sometimes we might need some timeout in minutes. Like if you don't want to keep this job waiting forever, so we can avoid that by putting some value. So I'm just putting default 4200, which is 3 days. And then I will add the steps. Now what are the steps that I want to add for this? Now the steps, so first step I have to do is that means I have to add a task over here. So the task is a annual validation task you can use. So you can directly copy it from here. Yeah, so this is the same thing we are following, manual validation job. And now on timeout, we can reject, or else on timeout, we can do a different operation like resume or whatever the value it is. There are different values. So what I will do is I just want to send out some notification, and that user has to follow. Uh, I mean, that user has to approve that. So what I will do, I will just copy this part, is the validation part. On resume, I mean on timeout, I will use resume so that it gets auto resumed again. Now this is okay, and I have to put proper okay. And the task name, fine. Timeout, I have to give proper here. Yeah, so this is fine. And now I have to notify one user, so I will just use my mail ID over here. So this is fine. Instructions, like what is the instruction that you want to pass? You can pass some instruction. I can just call it as new build has been triggered, has been triggered. Please validate the build, and I will give the build number here. I mean, if you want, you can use the build number by calling this build dot build ID. So you can use system defined variables over here. And on timeout, we can reject it or we can resume it. So I will just do a resume over here. So this is this will take care of the first part, that is the validation part. Now the second task that we're gonna add is deploy, or else we can add it as a job as well. Actually, a job will make sense because we have to wait for our first job, that is a validation job. Now in the second job, what I will do, my second job, I will actually call it as a deploy, that is deploy to Azure. Then we're gonna add our display name if you want. I will call it as deploy resources to Azure. And then this has to be dependent on the above one, like the validation one. So I can add depends on as well. And in the depends on, we have to use this job's name, like on which job it is waiting for. So I will come here and I will put it in brackets. I mean, you will understand what this depends on everything when you go through documentation. So that is the first point. Now this dependency is fine. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna add steps to this. Now the steps is I will add a CLI task which will actually deploy things. So for that, I mean, again, I'm not going to code you everything or learn everything. It is all available in the Microsoft documentation. You can just go here and we can say I'm going to use a CLI command, not the PowerShell this time. So what you can do is Azure Bicep CLI deploy. Yeah, this will give you how we can deploy by using this one, like the commands that we have to use. So what we can use is this is the command that will help you to deploy. Basically, it is az deploy, then the resource group name. I mean, it will create a resource group first if it is not created, and then it is expecting the parameter file and the template file. So this is the one that we're gonna use now. And for this, what we have to do first is we have to use a CLI command, right? So I will do here that part. So I'm going to add a task. I can use this show extension and Azure CLI. This is a task, and this will ask for connection, like to which storage account, sorry, to which subscription you want to uh, push it, or else the connection string details and the script type. I'm going to use a bash script, and the script location, if you have it already somewhere in your repo, then you can use it, or else you can use the inline one. So what I will do, I will do an inline scripting, and now I will come here and I will just copy this and put it here. Now this will deploy it. The storage account type, I don't have parameter file in parameter, so I don't worry on that. And the template path I have to change a bit. I have to point that, and resource group, if I have this resource group, that is well and good. If not, I have to create the resource group as well, right? So I can use a different command here, which is az group create, then the resource group name and the location. So I can just copy this too, and I can put that just above this. This will help me to create a resource group too. So example group is fine, and location, I am okay with central US for now. And the deployment path, everything is fine. Deployment name is also fine. Resource group is fine. The template path is something that we have to change. So what we can do is I will just point this to, okay, let me just add it first, then I can edit it in my editor. There you go, you have it, you have everything here. Now what I have to do is I just have to change my path, that is this one. You can have this as a parameter also if you want at the top. I mean, if you want, if you are well and good with the parameter, sorry, variables, if you want to add variables, that you can also do that. Or else we can directly use the uh, path over here. So for that, what we can do is, so the path being this one, template path. And when you look at here, it is actually asking the path to your bicep. So we have to give slash main dot bicep. Yeah, now this is ready over here, and now we can use this. So let me just go here one more time and let me check it. Yeah, bicep file, they have some value that they used. Well, okay, so let's just go and test this out and see how it goes. So everything is fine. So I will just save this, and it's been triggered with the main branch. So let's just save. So when you save this, this file get automatically added to your particular main branch. If you want a different branch, you can do that. But I'm okay with main branch, so I will just go and save this. Whenever it got saved, it will just automatically trigger one. What is that? It will automatically trigger my pipeline. So when you look at this, it says some error. Let's see what is the error over here. Job references, manual validation and validation is not valid for the given task. So let's see what is the reason. No logs available. So what I will do, I will just go here and edit it. Let me see what error we have done it. Okay. I don't think this will cause some issue. Oh, I think the task that I have created over here has some error. Let me check that. So validation, wait for validation, job name and job name is everything is fine. Then timeout 1400 I put. Now inputs I have to notify users. Okay, I will just use this. I don't have multiple users, so I'm okay with this. Then instruction and on timeout is all good. And this is fine. Save it. And let's see. Okay. And when we go to pipeline, oh, this failed other time also. Step referencing references task manual validation at a version is not valid for the given job target. I think we have to use a separate different pool for this altogether. So I will use a different pool. Uh, I mean, we have to validate it with the documentation, but let's see with a different pool, and I will use a server, and let's just save this. Let's just go to pipeline. Okay, this is again failed. This time it failed. Deploy to Azure is a server job, but contain tasks. Okay, so I think even that should also have a server. So let's see that too. What I will do, I will just go and edit it one more time. And this time I will just check this deploy Azure, and it is depending on that one, and I will use a separate pool here. And this time I am going to use a VM image like Ubuntu latest, and this is fine. Let's see how it goes now. Yeah, now our bicep file is running. And when you look at here, you will have two tasks, two stages over here, and you will have three jobs that are running. And when you expand this, you will see the list of jobs we have. So inside this job, we have the test cases one. So this is started now. Let's wait for the test case to complete. So once we have the test cases, we will be able to look at the published test cases as well. And the second part, that is second stage, will wait for a external approval. So let me check that. Okay, so 100% test cases passed, and let's wait. Now, if you see here, it says the pipeline need permissions to access a resource before it run. Now, this is because my pipeline has to have some permission to send out mails. So I will just check that. And this service principal has to have permission. So I will just permit that. Now, once we permit that, I will be getting a mail on my mailbox. And so that is the part. Now this will wait till the timeout happened. And when you look at the test cases, I have 100% test cases, like 87 test cases has been passed total, all total. If you have any failures, you will see them here, like if you are using hard-coded values, or you have secrets in your output, that values you will be able to see it here. But our file is a simple file, simple storage account file, so we will not see that much errors. Now, manual intervention, I can just go and check my mailbox, and I can approve that. Let me see if I have a mail. Get a mail with saying a message like, I am just checking my mailbox to see the example, like what kind of message that we get. Yeah, we will get a message with a subject line like manual validation pending. um, and you have to review that, and you have to, like, your manager will get that, whatever the notification users you have put, they can just come to this portal, and they will do that. I mean, they can review that. How they do is, if I am a manager, I can just come here, I can validate that. I mean, I can just go here, I can check the test cases whether they are 100% valid or not. If any failed cases, then I can reject that, saying the same thing here, like I can add some comment and I can reject, then the developer will know this has been rejected for this reason. But all looks good, right? So I will just commit it, saying a message called all good, then resume. Now if I resume this, it will start the second step, which is deploy resources to Azure. So I will just show you that too. So the first step is done. Now second step is working. Now I will go to my Azure portal, that is portal.azure.com. Oh, it failed. Yes. Sorry guys, I was having some trouble figuring out the issue, but finally I was able to deploy it. So, I mean, I just made a bit of changes. I think I'm giving a wrong path over here, and my indentation was wrong, something like that. But this is the some code that I have changed. Like, I was checking the my AZ version, and this is to create the resource group, and I'm going to create it with the name example RG and central US, and this is my deployment. Like, where is exact my path? And I have tried it. I mean, I can show you here. My release pipeline is done, and when you go here, all bicep is done, and my resources are also available over here. This is how. Just to make sure that we are doing it right, what I will do is I will just delete this resource group again, and I will run the pipeline. But this time I'm not going to run it manually. Instead, I will do some changes in my bicep file, and then we will see that. Yeah, so the deletion is running now. Just to make sure, I mean, instead of waiting for that to complete, what I will do, I will just rename my resource group. This can be a variable or a parameter. We can also change that if we want a variable, then you can create variables over here and you can use that variable. But for now, I'm just going to create a new resource group, which is called, I'm in Azure RG, and I am going to use Central India, and I'm going to use the same file. So now what I will do is, for now, if I save this, this again gets triggered. So I will just remove this triggered for now. Just let it be and save. Now when we save this, this will automatically trigger that. I mean, because we are pushing it to main, right? Because whenever you do some changes, it will get added to your main branch. So you see this YAML is just now, and your pipeline is in progress. So I don't even need to do any changes in my bicep to prove this. So this is fine. Let's see. Let's wait for this to finish. And you have the test cases that are running. We can go inside and check those things. Resolved, and now the task of test cases is running. So if you look at this is validating what is the resource type, whether it is a valid resource type or not, and based on that it is showing the results also. All test passed, all test passed. If you have any errors, then it will just add it over here, and you will be able to see the same in your test cases. So let's just give a minute here. Yeah, you have your 100% test cases passed, and then we will go to the deployment phase. And now I will just come here. If I want, I will just add some message and validate that, I mean, reject that or approve that. So I will just resume this. When I resume this, that means I have approved this pipeline to go further and deploy the resources into Azure. So it will start deploying the resources. When you go here, you will see. Now this time it is going to create a new resource group called I am in Azure RG. And when you go to this, uh, I mean, the resource group that we have selected, it is actually this one, VSMN MPN Vinod Kumar. So I am right now on the same subscription. This is my subscription, and instead of this one, I have to choose I am in Azure RG. So this is the resource group that's been created, and the location is Central India, which is fine. And when I go inside this, right now I don't have any deployment because my pipeline is still running. So let's just go and see that. Okay, it failed. Let's see the failure reason. Oh, sorry, I haven't changed it at other place. It's my bad. So that is why we are always supposed to use the parameters. I mean, sorry, variables. So when you look at this, I just changed it at only one place. This is the real mistake. Yeah, hopefully this will go this time very smooth. Yeah, I mean, I generally do a practical videos like the real time how the work happening in my day-to-day life. Whatever I see, I try to put everything my learnings on this YouTube channel. If you find anything that is helpful to you, please do like and share the subscribe so that it will be it will be a booster for me to make more and more content on that. And also, if any one of your friends need help, please do share the content. And also, if you have any questions or if you want me to take up new things that you want me to explore or work upon, you can add it on the comment section, and any feedback or suggestions also you can put it in comment section. I will be really happy to work on that, and I am able to modify myself to make it more convenient. Yeah, this time all good, and I'm going to do it now. Let's see this time the deployment. If everything goes good, then I'm good for today, hopefully. And I'm very sorry for this lengthy videos. I try to uh, make it very small, but sometimes because of this errors, I have to go and debug things, and I want to show you how in real time I go and debug things. So that is why you will see a bit lengthy videos. Sorry about that. Yeah, you see here now it has chosen the right subscription, and your resource group. This is your resource group. I am in Azure resource group, and in some time it will start deploying your resources. So ideally we have two resources here because we have used two modules. One is web app and the other is storage account. So ideally we are supposed to see whatever the resources we have defined inside our these two bicep files. So we have to see one ASP, that is app service plan, and one web app, and from the storage account we have to see a storage account. And the names you might have already seen. The names has defined in the main dot bicep. That is, one is with the name I am in Azure CI/CD Bicep web app, and the storage account name is I am in Azure. So let's wait for a minute. Yeah, this is I am in Azure ASP. All good. So you see this deployment is done, and when you come here and when you just refresh this, you are supposed to see the same. And all happened in Central India, East US, whatever the regions that we have defined over there. Yeah. Okay, so this is the East US we have given. Fine. Yeah, that's all for today. Hope this content is really helpful to you. Thanks for your time, and thanks for watching all the content. Bye.